Sneaky old Ableton, eh? Who saw that one coming? I say. Welcome along. My name's Tom. I'm going to be your driver for this stream. I have acquired one of these fantastic devices and I'm glad you're along for the ride. We're going to be making some tunes, having a bit of fun. There's a lot of videos already out there which are very good. Ableton have released their series on how to actually use this thing and how it all works. So I'm not going to be doing a tutorial style. It's not going to be me reading the manual or anything like that. I'm just going to be making some tunes, making some sounds, making some mud pies, having a bit of fun, and kind of dabbling around all the different kind of features as we go. And hopefully I touch base on most of them. What I'm not going to be covering is price, availability. Don't ask me questions about those. I'm not really at liberty to say, because I just don't really know. That's all businessy stuff, and I'm a creative-y person. So yeah, anything to do with price, availability, or anything to do with me opening it up with a screwdriver and pulling it apart to see how it's made, as much as I'd love to do that, and maybe I will at some stage, I'm not going to be doing that on this stream. I do have some tech specs on things like processor and RAM and stuff if anybody is interested, but I will not be opening the hood and pulling it apart this stream, which is a shame. Yeah, also just quickly, I'm currently running a beta firmware on this, so that means we might get a couple of happy little accidents, maybe. We'll see. So this is not the firmware that's being shipped with the main units. Everything's just happened so quickly and I haven't updated it. So yeah, and I guess with this, the amount of people watching, if you have any questions, just ask. I'm here. You're here. Let's do some stuff together. If it does get to a point where I can't keep up with the questions, I'll pause at various stages to see if anybody has them. So hello and welcome. Let's get started. Let's talk about, let's do this. I've been saving this. Oh. Okay, you ready? I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Oh. Fantastic. Okay, most important part done. Let's have a look at the layout. So it's similar to push 1 and push 2. They've been quite consistent. You've got your encoders up the top, which are quite hard to see with the black. I wasn't too sure how to light everything, but they are there. They are there. There's 8 encoders up here. We have a few new knobs. We have a bunch of buttons, and we have our pads in the middle. Now the new knobs are quite interesting. We have this thing here. It's kind of it's a jog wheel, but you can push it and you can nudge it and you can nudge it the other way. So this is kind of the answer to speeding up doing things, so selecting things and moving around and that kind of stuff, and it works really, really fast. And I'll just say, using this unit, just the response time in general is a lot faster than the push 2. One thing that used to bug me was scrolling through lots and lots of packs. So now we can use this. We have this knob here. This is the volume knob, and this one is the tempo knob. So they've moved them from here down here, which is very, very, very good, because multiple times I have turned the volume down when I meant to turn a cutoff filter down, and that's not ideal when lots of people are looking at you. These knobs all are touch and push responsive. So for example, with the volume knob, if I just touch it, it tells me what it's currently controlling. We can see main output. If I click it, we move to headphone output, and if I click it again, we can do master volume and cue volume. So this is quite neat. We can use this to switch between various different volumes, and this will become apparent, or why this is this way, when I start talking about sound input and output, because it's its own sound card basically. The tempo knob works similarly, so we can just touch it to see what it's currently controlling. It's the tempo, or we can click it to move, to swing them out. And the jog wheel just behaves however it wants depending on what you currently have selected. As far as the buttons go, I'll go through them quite quickly. So we have a few up the top here. We have sets, so this is for where all your kind of storing and loading of your sets are. We have a settings page, which is really handy. I'm not going to go into that first though, because that's kind of boring. We have this one here, which has a few little tutorials, which I imagine there'll be more. This is really cool. I won't do it now, but it gets started with push. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to hit it. Oh, no. Say, no. Anyway, tutorials, and then user mode, which currently isn't active in this particular firmware, but I'm sure will be active on the units that you get. We have our top buttons up here. What's the correct terminology there? I better look. The upper display buttons, which are currently not lit up, so they're a bit hard to see. We have the lower display buttons. Over here, we have 4 more buttons. So we have device. This selects your device parameters, so all the things that you want to control, or devices that you've got loaded in your tracks. We have the mix view, so this is where your volumes are, your sends, your pans. We have clip view. Now it's not showing anything at the moment, but this will be a big one. We'll explore this a little bit later when we get some content in there. This is quite exciting. And we also have session view. Again, it's empty at the moment, but this is basically session view in the display, and I think this is awesome. If you're into DJing with Ableton like me, this is particularly awesome. So we'll have a look at that when we get some content through. We've got our add button, so add new devices, tracks, whatever. Our swap button, this is our master track select button. We've got our usual navigation. We can move around and up and down and all that kind of stuff. We have our switching between note and session mode here. Scale, layout, repeat, accent, double loop, duplicate, convert, delete, octave up and down, page left and right, shift, select, and of course we have our repeat buttons, or our trigger scene buttons, down here on the right. Moving across, we have the play button, the record button, the capture button, the new button, automate, fixed length, quantize, metronome, and tap tempo. Here we have lock, stop, mute, and solo, and that pretty much covers the layout. I see a question: are the buttons more clicky than the previous push? Good question. Let's do a test. I have an old push here. An old push. It's a push too. They're still amazing. Let's push a button. Pretty underwhelming. Let's push a button here. That's a yes from me. Maybe the mic didn't pick that up, but there is a definite difference. Very, very much tactile feedback going on there. And they all seem to be that way as well. The play button even seems to have a bit more chonk to it. Or maybe it's just what's behind it. Anyway, quite satisfying. The power button has the most satisfying click of all the buttons, but obviously I'm not going to push that right now. Good question. Surprising first question. Okay, so that was the layout. I just kind of thought that's a good... Oh, no, the back. The back is really, really exciting. They did a really good little pan of it in the introducing push 3 button. And we also have you get a cool little pamphlet here, which has everything inside it, but it's a bit tricky for you to see. So I'll just read out what we've got. So 2 6.35mm balanced outputs, 2 audio inputs, which are 6.35 as well. So they're balanced, but you can switch them between line and instrument, which is unbalanced. And I believe there's even a third option there. We'll explore that later for kind of really boosting the gain. So we've got output, input. There's an ADAT in and out, which is going to make a lot of people really happy. So we can extend it up to 10 inputs and 12 outputs. MIDI in and MIDI out, so that's with the little 3.5 breakout cables. Might try and play with those soon, or a little bit down the line. It's got a USB-A, so you can plug USB things into this. You can plug, you can take this, and you can plug it into this, and you can use this to control this. And that works with MIDI as well. So if you've got MIDI CC values assigned to things within your devices and your parameters, and you plug in an external controller, it will control those values. And it also works with remote scripts as well, so that's very cool. back to our thing here. External power. So it's a 20 volt 3 amp. So it's pretty juicy. I know for a fact it's 64 watt hour batteries because the border force were very interested in me carrying this on a plane. It has USB-C connectivity to a computer, so that's always a win. There's dynamic ports, so the pedal input is also a CV output, which I find quite interesting. So you can have up to 4 CV outputs with breakout cables. So if you're a modular person and you want to use this as a sequencer or so, you can use it with your modular gear. Again, I'd like to play with that, but I'm not sure we'll get there anyway. There's 1x stereo headphone output, 6.35. Now, again, worth noting, the headphone output and the output here are 2 separate audio tracks. Fantastic, again, if you're into DJing with Ableton Live or just performing live and you need to listen to stuff, and you don't have a sound card that has multiple outputs. You can now cue in one in your headphones and you can play out here. So that's the back panel. Just reading the chat. Is the screen and pads brighter than on the Push 2? I don't really know without plugging the Push 2 in. If we go into the settings menu here, we can change, I've got to hide this because it's got my email and serial number. We can change the LED brightness. I've got them down a bit because they unfortunately splash out quite a bit with the streaming and the compression. But we can change the display light here as well. It looks pretty bright. I haven't tried it when it's not plugged in. Should we do that now? Let's just unplug the power and see what happens. Absolutely no change. So that's a big plus. Oh no, that was the MIDI. Power is out. Yeah, absolutely no change when you don't have the power cable plugged in. That's really handy. Shout out to the border force. Yeah, they were really polite. The woman laughed at me a little bit because everybody else was declaring things like knives and nunchucks and stuff, and I come along with this, and she just like, "What are you showing me this for?" I was like, "Well, this is a thing that's got a battery in it. They explode." Can you show us how to control it with the Launch Control XL? I will. We will get there. We should move on to actually getting some sound out of it, because I'm just kind of talking about it at the moment and not actually doing much. So that's the back panel there. Very cool. There's a lot going on. MIDI in, MIDI out, headphone in, headphone out, blah blah blah. So let's talk about the pads. The pads are huge, if not the biggest feature of the Push. One of the biggest features. The reason for that, if you haven't seen already, is they're all expressive. They have an X, a Y, and a Z. All of them. So you can think of them as little X, Y, Z controllers. They know exactly where you touch on the pad and where you move your finger after you touch them. So I have I have the patch loaded up right now, and let's just go ahead. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to hit the note in the middle. Now watch what happens when I move my finger up and down. And up and down. Let's go left and right. Let's go left and right off the note. This would work better in chromatic mode. I'm going to go into scales. We'll choose minor, and I'll just change it to chromatic mode. I mentioned Z, which is the pressure, so we can get some pressure going on. I just realized that my webcam shakes when I press hard. That is definitely intentional, just so you can see how hard I'm pressing. So you can imagine, just from the big chord pad perspective, just playing a big minor chord. and then move your fingers around. Let's try a different pad. So I'm going to hit the swap button here. We do have add, but I'm going to hit swap because that goes back to kind of where we were last time. And this is me loading it up. There is a MPE category in the sounds. So you see how I'm using the jog wheel to nudge there. I'm going to go sounds, nudge it to the right. Oh no, I'm going to click, sorry. And we'll go MPE sounds. Let's just pick something. Let's just go. Oh, I want a pad. Let's try that. So I'm going to load that. Let's try something different. The preview, by the way, is up here. We can turn this off if we don't want to listen to the previews. What's another good one? Gravity sounds good. Let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and pick a lead sound if we can find one here. Like something that's a bit more, there you go, stand up lead. Let's just try that because I want to show you how you can actually customize the expression stuff here. So if I go into my settings again, oops, and let's go into sensitivity, or we'll go to expression first. What we can do is we can change a few things. Like first we can determine the slide height. So this is how much of the pad is actually affected by your finger. You might wonder, why don't you want this on absolute max? Well, you can kind of get into a habit of accidentally hitting the note above you if you have such a wide range of slide height. So, you know, I suggest to keep this down a few notches. We have in-tune width, so this is how much, basically the same thing, but from left to right. And then we have in-tune location with pad and finger. This one's interesting. So if I keep it in pad and I hit the pad in the middle, we get the note in tune. But if I hit it to the right, we start with the note sharp. If I hit it low, we get it flat. But if we move this to finger mode, wherever we hit the pad, it will always be in tune, and then it will bend from there. So if I hit it all the way to the right and bring it down, so different use cases here, but that's one way you can customize them. There's also a really comprehensive sensitivity kind of curve channel here. So this is, let me just tell you what these do. So the threshold is how hard you need to hit a pad to trigger it. So you can see as I move this up, we kind of get this curve here. Let's bring the drive up a bit. The drive pushes all the values in the curve to the outer extremes, so we can kind of extend that out, bring that down. The compound kind of expands and compresses, so forces incoming notes to the outer boundaries of the curve, if you like, which kind of means you get more louds and more quiets. Sorry, that was the compound here. And the range is how hard you need to hit the pad to reach full velocity. So you can really, really customize these to your liking. How's my voice level with the audio, by the way, guys? I know that I'm kind of sharing a single output here. Okay, let's talk about drums though. So I'm going to go ahead. How am I going to do this? I'm just going to show you some drums, and then we'll make a drum beat. And then I'm going to build something from scratch using the expression, because I think that's a pretty fun thing to do. I'm just going to go into my swap here again. Let's just use the same MIDI track, and let's go ahead, go back, and we'll choose drums. And there are a couple of MPE kits already included here. So see how fast this is, by the way? Whoa, turn preview off. This used to be quite a chore, especially if you had a lot of packs kind of already installed. Let's go ahead and find our MPE. So we've got an analog kit and a synth lab kit. Let's just choose the analog kit for a start. So what this means is when you get your drum pad, same thing happens. You can use the position of where you hit the drum pad to change the sound. I don't actually know how to build these kits myself yet. I'm sure I will, but they've kindly given us a couple of kits to show this off. So and of course there's velocity as well. I'm going to load the other one, Synth Lab Kit. You got to remember that these are currently controlling synthesizers generating drums. I will show you in a moment a drum kit of recorded drum kit sounds and how MPE can still be used. So my sensitivity is way off. Let's bring these back to a pretty reasonable level. In fact, let's turn on the metronome. I'm going to tap this to my cue and bring it down a little bit. And quantize, of course. Let's just fix this up a little bit because I'm doing a live stream. Turn the metronome off. Oh, that's absolutely terrible, Tom. You can't have that for your first drum loop. You have to do another one. Oh, wow. See how that one changes so much? Can't really go wrong with that, right? I'm going to go into clip mode here just to bring the loop length back to 2. We will cover this when I do more melodic stuff because it's quite interesting. Actually, no, let's do it now. I'm going to use the jog wheel and simply select that note that's off there. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just going to nudge that until the right place. Let's move across to this one. Okay, let's do a kick. Let's do a snare. Metronome can go now. Anyway, that's using the expressive pads with drums, and I'm sure there'll be many more drum kits to come. Can you name clips from the push when in standalone mode? Let's go into session mode. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Hold on. I might have to read the manual. Rename clip. I don't know. Oops, sorry. I'm pretty sure we can, because the whole there's a whole system of kind of choosing different notes and being able to select letters and name stuff. I mean, for a start, you need to connect to your Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, so you need a password. I wonder if I hold down Shift. Is there a rename button? Shift. Maybe somebody else in the chat can ask that. Oh, Ramsey's here. Ramsey, can you rename a clip? Yes, press Shift and you can rename a clip, tracks, and presets. So if I go into session mode and hit shift and hit it. Rename. You're a legend, thank you. So we can just go ahead and, I don't know, go delete and call this, I don't know, whatever. Let's call it drop table. No, just kidding. We'll call it 8888. Done. There we go. Thank you, Ramsey. I appreciate that. I have tried to memorize the manual, but that's a little bit tricky. Now I'm going to show you, well, speaking of Ramsey has provided me with a fantastic drum kit. And I'm going to load that now. So I'm going to click on my sets button here. First, actually, no, let me just show how to save this. So I'm just going to click save, and it's saved it. And it's given it a random name, assimilating the skeleton. That's just so you don't have to fiddle around with names every time. You can, of course, go and change that later, but I quite like that you can just hit save, and it assigns quite a unique name to it. And I believe that each time you I believe if you shift save as well, it'll save a new version of that. So you can kind of keep working on your track and do shift saves, which is something I do a lot when I'm producing in case I want to backtrack and do something else. So now that is saved, let's go into the sets here, and I'm going to load this session drum, loud punch. This is an example of how we can use a multi-sampled kit to actually get for some reason we're still on a wavetable. Okay, let's go ahead. We may have hit one of these issues here. Let's go ahead and just delete this. Delete this. I would like to load this, please. Don't save. Okay, one moment, please. Well, this is a really another good feature. Let's show you how you can reboot it. So I'm just holding down the power. Do I want to turn it off? Yes, please. I'm going to just turn the audio down because you can get a little pop out of the outputs. But yeah, little happy little accident there. Who was that? Who quoted that? Was it Dennis Rodman? No. Anyway, so that's shut down. Let's boot it back up again. And of course we are using an operating system here, so boot time is the thing. No way around that really, so we do actually have to wait for the push to boot. I'd say it's nowhere more than 20 seconds at a guess. Perhaps Ramsey, you know how many seconds it would take to boot. It's pretty quick. It's quick enough for you to talk over the top of it and say a few sentences while it's loading, while people patiently wait in a chat room watching a stream of a device boot up. And it has some nice lights on it as well, which is kind of cool. Bob Ross, that's the one, thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and load the set again. Maybe I might have saved over it by accident. I think I've saved over it by accident. So let's load another one. Let's just go for Bright Room, see how this goes. There is a push 3G dog as of 2 hours ago. Okay, so I've turned it down. So what we're working with here is an actual sampled kit. So it's an analog sampled kit, but the distance on the pad determines how the sound sounds. So here's the snare down low. I can bring it up. Let's try a hi-hat. I can't finger drum. I'm going to try. So that's pretty neat. I'm not going to pretend to know how this works. There's heaps of samples. These have been multi-sampled multiple times, and then the actual assignment of where you are on the pad determines the particular sample it plays and how it plays. It's just so much more natural. I'm actually gonna record something here. Let's make it nice and slow. Turn the Q down. I'm going to try and play this as accurately as I can. Let's give it some swing. I'm terrible. Awesome. So that's the multi-sampled mode. Really, really expressive. It kind of makes me want to learn how to get good at finger drummings. Man, I wonder what Mr. Bill's going to be able to do with this. Wow. Okay, so that's not all I'm going to talk about with expressive pads. I want to build something from scratch, I reckon. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's create a new live set. So I'm going to hit my set button here. I'm going to go new set. It's asking me if I want to save my changes. No, I don't. And it's just given us a blank template, 2 MIDI tracks, 2 audio tracks. Let's go ahead and add a device. We'll add a device and we'll choose instruments. Let's be a bit different. I was going to use Drift because it's the new one and it's very MPE friendly, but let's use the wavetable. Just a reminder that the majority of these instruments now, all Ableton Live native instruments, are MPE enabled, apart from operator. So that includes simpler, sampler, analog, collision, tension, everything, electric. They're all MPE enabled. So I'm going to go into my wavetable here and let's just play a note. You'll see already that the waveform position is moving as I move up and down. Not too bad, but I want to change that. So I'm going to go into my MIDI and MPE tab and we'll change our mod target, which is the OSC1 position. We can see that slide is set to 33. Slide, of course, is up and down. So let's really crank that. And now we'll get the full range of that oscillator position. And of course, now we pick a better wavetable. What should we do? I always like this one, especially down low. Maybe something a little bit busier because I would like to attach the slide to the pitch as well. Let's use this one, sorry, to the filter. So I'm going to go to my filters here. So here's our frequency. I do actually seem to be coming into a problem here again where I'm unable to add this to the matrix unless it's already in there. I'm not sure, Ramsey, I apologize to call upon you again, but any idea if I'm missing something for this not to be lit up? Usually when I turn this, it allows me to add it to the matrix, but we may have encountered a little problem again. While we're at it, let's give it a reverb. Go for the good old hybrid reverb. It's always fun, just as it is. Go back to the wavetable. Oh look, I can add to the matrix now. So as I move the frequency, we'll go add to matrix. And now I'll go into my MIDI MPE, filter 1 is already selected. Let's give that some slide as well. So if we go back to the filters and turn it right down, maybe let's choose pressure instead. That could be a fun one. So again, pressure is how hard you push down once you've played the note. Pretty hard to see me actually doing that, but let's choose that real gnarly dubstep organ one again. I'll change the pitch to in key. Minor. It's angry, not Dorian. I actually want to start writing a tune. I feel like I've kind of just been hammering through the features. Let's actually get a loop going. Let's get something happening. That does mean that I'm going to have to get some drums going. So I'm going to go to MIDI track 2. Let's add device. Let's go back to the, I quite like the MPE drums. Which ones were they? Let's do the Synth Lab kit. Maybe I'll just add them in manually rather than try to finger drum. I thought I was way better than I actually was before I started this. So can you do pitch bending with most MIDI keyboard and the rest of the stuff with Ableton Live software? You can, but it's just so much more expressive if you say, this isn't a very good example of the chord, but you know, if you've got two notes. So each note has its own individual pitch bend. You can also do little kind of wobbles. I'm going to go back into my settings here, into my expression. Oh no, we'll keep it there. There's also a note pitch bend mode, so you can either go chromatically or in scale. At the moment it's set to automatic, which will automatically just do whatever you'll set in your scale settings. Let's go back to our drums. So let's just go like this. We'll choose 140. Let's do that. Simple. Can't really screw that up, can you, Tom? I am going to try these. What else we got here? Sounding good. Let's go back to our wavetable. The reverb is too much. Let's just bring the decay down. I think we're in convolution mode. Just going to choose convolution. I do want to give it a little bit. Let's go back to our wavetable. Go to our filter bring it up a bit. Oh, I changed it to a bandpass. And let's go to a MIDI and MPE, change the pressure down. How are we doing in the chat? Everyone following along? Can you use VSTs with this or just stock plugins? Just stock plugins currently, I believe. Excuse me while I drink some water. Just gonna let's change this wavetable. Let's change the oscillator to something a bit different. That's cool. Maybe we could put a sub on. So I want to do a little bit more with the expressive pads, but I'm a little bit restricted here. So I'm going to move on to something different and come back to this just in a little bit. What I want to try is I want to try the MIDI output. So as I mentioned before, there's 3.5mm breakout ports for MIDI in and MIDI out. And I was trying to get this ready just at the last moment before the stream. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it anyway so we can go through the process of how it works. Just so you can see, I do have another camera here. This amazingly placed light. So let's just get rid of that. Oh, maybe we need that. Here we go. Let me just bring this across. So I have connected the output of the MIDI into the input of the synth. I have connected the headphones via a 3.5mm to RCA with 2 jack converters to the input here, just because I could not grab myself any jack cables. And I just want to see if we can get this working. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. So I'm going to go and introduce a new MIDI track. I'm going to just do a default track. Okay. Can we rename it? We can. Oh, I have to be quick though. Rename. No, let's not bother with that for now. Now I'm going to go ahead and add an external instrument device. So we'll go instruments. External instrument. Boom. Now this now gives us the option to output MIDI from this channel out the MIDI cable at the back across here. So let me just switch views again for you so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to change the external instruments MIDI output to push 3 MIDI out, which is what we want. We can select our channel here. I'm pretty sure channel 1 will be fine. And then we can select where we want the audio to come back in from. So I'm going to choose 1 and 2. Now I believe I need to arm the track, so hold down record, push it. Let's turn the volume down and just see if we get something coming through. We do. Okay, so if I go back to this view here, we're now controlling this. That worked way better than I thought. That was intuitive and easy and awesome. Okay. What's happening though is it's very loud. So I'm going to go into my setup and let's go to audio. So here we can see we've got various different audio. Oh, excuse me guys. I'm going to have to get quick at this. We've got different sample rates, different buffer sizes, but we can choose what kind of input we have here. So you can see I can switch between line, instrument, and high. I've currently got it set on high. But the volume here is kind of set not maybe just to like 1 or something. So let's go for instrument and we'll bring the volume up over here on the synth. I wonder if I can just play this. Hopefully it's in tune. Maybe I have to tune the oscillators, but... I don't have any patch cables, unfortunately. Nope. Okay, so this MIDI clip is playing this. I'm going to move this across to... Let's turn that down a little bit. I'm going to move this back across to this camera. And just have a look here. I'm going to tidy up my MIDI clip using the jog wheel. So this note, the length is wrong. So I'm just going to hold down shift and move it back a little bit. This next one, it needs to be nudged forward a little bit. And we'll make it shorter. And you can do this with all of them, or you can just quantize, which is fun. I'm wondering, well, there's a few notes that don't need to be there, so this note here doesn't need to be here. I'm sure there's a delete note. Maybe it's shift. Oh, maybe I just pushed delete. Yeah, I just pushed delete, so those little extra notes that I didn't want, I can just get rid of. And let's just move this one as well. Might as well do this one as well. I mean, remember I've only been using this for a few days. This is... I feel like you could get really quick at using this. I mean, think of the benefit. So yeah, it's still clunky. We can't, use a mouse or anything. But you can literally just unplug all these cables and go and sit under a tree for 2 hours and put your headphones in and do this. Which I think is kind of what they were thinking about. So that's the external instrument. I'm going to just push this audio track and see if the audio comes through, which it is. So I can go back to my external instrument now, and I can take the audio from. We'll go no input. So let's arm this track, and let's just record a loop. And now we have an audio track playing. I'm just going to go ahead and delete the external instrument. Oops. Undo that. That was the wrong thing. Oh, what did I delete? The drums. Oh well. Can I undo more? Oh man, that was totally me. I got too excited. Let's go ahead and just add a new MIDI track and put in a real basic drum beat. First, I will get rid of the external instrument. I'm doing all kinds of wrong things here. I'm panicking. Guys, help me, undo. So let's disarm this track. I might have actually accidentally nuked that. I have. Can we still play it? Yeah, the clip's still good. So let's go back to our devices, bring the input back. I'm just going to record that because I really want to use this. Okay, let's disarm that track. Now we should be able to delete this. All good. Let's go and add a real basic kit. MIDI track. drums. Go for our MPE. So if you're just joining us, I'm having a bit of fun. I'm building something. I'm trying to make a track here. Again, there'll be lots of tutorials out there, lots of guides on how to do things. I'd quite like to do something that has a result at the end, even though it's a little bit kind of touchy at the moment. Okay. So let's just put these in again. That'll do. So let's just go across and look at the screen at the moment. This was all in standalone. So I haven't had Ableton open the whole time. This has all been... Yeah, sorry, I believe that was me. I'm not too sure what happened there. Not too sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Anybody in the chat, give me a what's up. Let me just figure this out here. I'm not too sure what's going on because YouTube's telling me the stream is excellent. I wonder if I can change my stream settings here. No, I'm unable to. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of lag going on. Your stream quality is good. Alright, somebody type 1, 2, 3 in the chat if they can hear me. I'm not too sure if I'm talking to a dead air thing here or not. Okay, I think we're back. I'm not too sure what happened there. Both my streaming software and YouTube are telling me that everything is good. But yeah, that may happen again. I apologize. Yeah. So what I was talking about was saving the set and actually transferring it to live. So everything so far has been on standalone mode. We have not had Ableton Live open whatsoever, which I think is absolutely amazing. So you can do all of this, like everything that we just did, without actually having to be at a computer or Ableton Live. And I was in the process of showing you how you can get it across. So let's just do that right now. Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of a delay going on here, but anyway, let's push forward. So I'm just creating a new live set here, and what I've done is I've saved my set on the push, and you'll notice that we have a new push option here in the left navigation area, and this is showing us what current projects we have saved on the push. And the last one, of course, is this one here, which is the floating under merit. So I'm just going to double click this on my computer. Again, we're still in standalone mode here. I have not connected it. Look, here's my USB cable, not connected to the computer. This is transferring across my Wi-Fi. Ah, I think I just figured it out. I think I might have just figured it out, guys. I think the transfer across the Wi-Fi might be causing the lag. Who knows? Anyway, let's just roll with that. Definitely not my fault. Okay, and now we have this project open and live. So if I was to, I'm going to turn the push completely down. I'll do it here. So let's get it to master volume. Let's bring that right down. Bring the volume down here and let's play. So that's copied across. The wavetable, the MIDI notes, the mappings, everything that we created, the drum MPE. We have this here, which is the resampling of the hardware. Everything is now copied across onto our computer quickly, and we can work on it. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. I think that's really, really cool. And it goes both ways as well. So you can write something in Ableton Live, You could be working at your computer. You basically just go to your project and you dump it into your projects folder, and you go into your push 3, go into your sets, and it's right there. You can load it up and just kind of work on it externally. Again, this is a really big deal for me because I like to DJ with Ableton Live, and all of a sudden I'm going to be able to do this without having to take a computer. And I really don't like having a computer up there, and I need to look at it because I need to see what tracks I've got and what tracks are playing next. But now we've got this new session view mode, I can just do it all from here. So I'm very, very excited to build some templates and stuff around that. This was kind of the hidden bonus mega feature for me, the one that I really, really, really enjoy. So I want to do some more with Expression. I'm going to now we're working in Ableton Live, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of standalone mode. So I'm going to go into my settings here, I'm going to go to my status, and I'm going to go Control Live. So this is taking me out of standalone mode. Now it's asking me to connect my cable, so I'm just going to go and plug in my USB. There we go. And then this becomes a full-fledged push controller for Ableton Live like we're used to, with of course all the regular capabilities such as the MPE, expression and stuff. And that's what I want to play with here. So now I can use my computer and my mouse. Let's go ahead and make something. Let's make a lead. What I wanted to do before, when I had the wavetable playing here and the expression and all that happening, so over in the MPE tab, look at this. This is our fingers doing stuff. This is all about fingers, so let me just play that. First thing I'm going to do, let's group this together because this is a bad habit. We'll put it into a rack, and let's just go ahead and put an operator, and we'll make sure that we EQ the wavetable just to get rid of any lows, and we'll just use the operator as our way of playing a sub, because it's a bit naughty having reverb on a sub. Let's bring this reverb up a bit. Okay, now I want to create a new lead here. I'm going to use another wavetable, so let's go ahead and add it. And you'll see now this all functions like a regular MIDI controller for Ableton Live. We can go into session mode, we can move around even though we don't have many tracks, and we can kind of go in device mode and control everything, but now it is working in Ableton Live. So here's our wavetable, here's our oscillator, we can change it around. Let's just stick with, we'll keep it simple. Let's just move it up so we've got a saw wave. We'll go into notes mode, and let's just make sure we're in the right scale. It is currently soloed. Just going to mute these. That's all good. But I want to do some interesting stuff here. So what I wanted to do was have the reverb controlled by touch. We couldn't do that on the push. We couldn't add an expression controller and map it. Unfortunately, we can't map something to something else. But I want to do it here and show you how much fun it is. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce another hybrid reverb. Let's just get rid of the release. You can already see the slide affecting the cutoff point. I don't actually think I want that, so I'm just going to go and remove it from the MPE tab. I want this affecting the dry wet of the reverb. Now the way I can do that is going into my MIDI effects, adding an expression control, and we'll choose slide. So you can see as I move my finger up and down, we're getting some data coming through. And let's just go ahead and map that to the dry wet of the reverb. Close this down so you can see it. There's a little bit of latency for me. I wonder if I can bring that down a bit. No, I can't. That's fine. But let's do some more crazy shit. Let's go ahead. Let's chuck in an arpeggiator. We'll turn it off sync mode. Let's add another slide and we'll map that to the rate. Let's do the opposite. Let's go the opposite. So the min is the max is the min. That's going a little bit too much. No, this is too much. Let's open up the wavetable again. We'll make it monophonic, give it some glide. More glide. I could be doing it here if I wanted to, but I have a mouse now. I guess it doesn't matter if we have an arpeggiator with a glide. I'm going to do some real weird shit now. Let's go ahead and put an LFO. Where should we chuck it? Here. And let's apply the LFO to the frequency. And let's go pressure, which would be aftertouch in the expression controller. Let's apply that to the rate. Okay, we may need to bring that down a little bit. Bring this down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a delay on this as well, I think. Or an echo. Let's just get it going with the drums, which I believe is this one. Nope. The live audio could use a tiny boost. Thank you. I'll turn that up. So the LFO on the filter freak, let's bring that up a bit. Let's make it a bandpass. No, we'll keep it. Let's lose the arpeggiator. Maybe we'll make it poly. Bring this down a bit. Let's change the wave shape to something else. And we'll also apply the slide to let's apply the slide to the position. This is still going too fast as well. Still not fully happy with this. I'm gonna keep building. I'm gonna keep building with the expression control. I'm gonna try and make a really expressive pad, just because I want to, and I think it's fun, and I think it's interesting as well. Let's use just a. I'll put the hybrid reverb back. You can't really go wrong with a pad with a big reverb, right? So at the moment, let's get another oscillator in there. We'll make it a complex waveform, maybe one of these. And let's go for aftertouch on that wavetable position. So if I expand this out and drag it up, we've got slide, we've got pressure. You know what? I'm going to use my favorite reverb ever. Hopefully I can with this version. Oh, maybe I can't. It's out of spaces. Let's get it. Let's get it. Why not? Install. I just think this is such a fantastic device. If you're going to get any device, get this one. It's the boss. It's just instant good machine. Maybe a little bit too much. Now I really do want to get an arpeggiated style sound in there, so what I might do is group this wavetable into a instrument rack, and let's get another device going on here. This outer spaces is you can be a bit too much with this outer spaces. Let's go with the drift. I shamefully haven't used it too much. I arrived back from Australia late last night. I don't know if that's an excuse, but yeah, so I do want to actually play around with this arpeggiator. I feel like there's something there. So I'm going to put an arpeggiator there. Maybe if we go slide on synced mode of the arpeggiator. Let's find a good drift preset. I will go for lead. It's not really a lot there that I want. Maybe that. Oh, that was cool. I'll go for this one. So I'm going to load this in here. Let's just have a listen to that by itself. So we've got individual arpeggiator time control with 2 notes. Actually, no, we don't have individual arpeggiator control. I take that back. But this is quite nice. Let's go random on the filter. And let's get this back on. Bring the volume right down here. I'm going to add an audio effect after this arcade split here. We'll go for something destructive. We'll go for a redux. Let's chuck it on there. And then let's also add slide to that. Why not? we'll need to go the opposite, so yeah. Let's get this playing. A little bit late. Don't know about that one. It was nice though. Maybe if we go down here. Seems to screw it up. Let's stick with that. I quite like it. Now I've just had an idea. Let's create an audio track and we'll take the input from that 2 instrument rack. We'll go monitor in. We'll just put this to scenes only. I'm gonna put, let's do an auto pan, and we'll do the old gate trick. I'm just wondering if I can do an expression controller on a blank MIDI track, which I'm sure I can. And go ahead and map something to say the rate here, and then we can kind of double up and just keep going. So it doesn't really matter what note I put in here, I guess. I guess we can just change the sample rate of this, or can we not? Looks like we can. I need to have this armed. Yeah, so basically we now have 64 individual controllers that we can use to control our MIDI. Let's go ahead and add something else here. We'll keep this going. Let's get rid of the controlling device. I like 16th notes. Let's put a delay on it with a very short time and lots of feedback. Now let's go ahead and map this to that feedback. Oh, sorry, to the time. I'm going to do pressure on the gating. Maybe not. I'm just messing around now. Let's go aftertouch on the feedback. Bit dangerous. Okay. I apologise if I've missed any questions. If you've asked a question and I haven't answered it, feel free to ask it again now while I just drink some water and mute the mic so you don't hear me gulping. So if I understand correctly, you want me to test the pitch slider through the expression plugin. On my push 2, every key press centered the velocity at 50% and it was kind of jumpy. Yep, I'll have a look. So let's just go ahead and load up another wavetable. I just like wavetable. Let me give you a full screen of that. We'll pick a software. What happens if we go like this? It's a fight. I'm quite interested in playing with that delay effect a little bit more. Did that answer your question? The I can't pronounce your name. The Bengineer? Saw the news about the push 3 this morning. Figured Tom would be doing a hands-on. Was not disappointed. Yeah. Thanks, Ableton. They look after me. They really do. They're very kind to me. Are you able to compare the lighting between the push 2 and the push 3? We discussed this before. Let me... yeah, we can do that. Oh. No, I can't do that to its full extent because I don't have the power cable. Oh, no, I do. It's controlling the bearing. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hey, you know what we should do? We should plug a push 2 into a fucking push 3. Right? Let's do that. Excuse my language. That is an interesting concept. How am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to just reshuffle a few things here, so bear with me. I'm just going to turn this down so there's no pops. Alright. Let's get this out of the way. Sorry for hitting the mic. Bit of unexpected shifting around. I'm just going to I'm going to mute my mic while I do this because I'm worried I'll hit it and it'll be very noisy. So one moment. This is going to be exciting, I think. So I'm at the back of the push 2. Let me switch to this view for you. So I got a push 2 and we've got a push 3. The back of the push 2, if you're not familiar, has a USB in now, so you can plug in any controller. I'm not sure what else you can plug in. I think it just does pass through USB to your computer when it's in control mode. So, I mean, you know, you could plug in a hard drive, I think. I haven't tested it out with a USB hub. That would be interesting as well. So I'm just going to use my magic skills of reaching, finding the USB socket, which is there. And yeah, let's just plug in the push 2 to the push 3. Oh, I don't have the right cable. Hold on. I'll be right back. I just have to find that cable. It's quite cornered, you know, this one here. So let's do that. Out you come. Out you come. You can go in there. Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen? I have a feeling it's just going to go into a standalone mode. All right, push 2 going in. Okay. The push 2 is now connected to the push 3. The push 3 has nothing on its display. So, where's my headphones? I think something weird has happened here. Okay, we can still play stuff. Can we change the display at all? That's really interesting. So, if we have a look over here, the push display has gone completely blank. Let me try and reboot the push 3 and see what happens. I reckon we'll be able to get something to work here. I feel like standalone mode we'll be able to get. Maybe the push 3 control. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's turn it back on. Yeah, the old angled USB. I'm pretty glad to see that go. Look, the push 2, amazing instrument. Still is, still will be for years to come. But that kind of proprietary sized hole was just a nightmare. You know? Got no time for proprietary sized square holes. So this is still booting up. Is it going to boot into standalone mode though, or control mode? Let's see. I hope you guys find this interesting. This is the kind of stuff I like to stay up late at night and do. Doesn't look like the push 2 is booting. So that's interesting. What if I unplug the USB? Let's go into standalone mode. We'll boot it into standalone mode and we'll see what the push 2 does when plugged into the push in standalone mode. Well, it's plugged in. I think what we need to do is we need to go into control live mode. Which it seemed to have trouble doing before. Maybe I unplug. No, I'm not going to unplug it for now. We'll give this a few minutes. We'll see what we can make happen. And it does kind of segue into me showing you how you can use external controllers in standalone mode, which is really, really neat. Doesn't seem to like to want to boot into control mode when push 2 is plugged in, which is a shame. So let's unplug that. Is it going to change anything? Or am I just being impatient? I don't think I'm being impatient. I think this should have launched by now. Okay, so let's hit power on the push. Okay, now it's kind of frozen. So here's a new thing you can do, and it's handy to know. If you hold down the power for 10 seconds, actually let me just turn the volume down. 10 seconds is a hard shutdown, so you can... I didn't have to do it then. If you hold it down for 10 seconds, it will just turn off. So if things do get frozen, which are likely to happen because, you know, let's be realistic, it's a computer. It's a computer and an operating system running software and all this audio stuff. It would be nice if push 2 and push 3 could work together. That's why I'm going to try one more time. And I do hope you bear with me because I just think that's such a cool idea. And I feel like it's something Ableton might have thought about. We'll see. I think my Ableton Live might be causing some issues here. Again, I'm running a beta firmware at the moment, so things are not all as they seem, but I do need to be a little bit patient. But what I will do is, when this doesn't work, which I'm pretty sure it's not going to do, we'll plug this in and I'll show you how we can use this to control push 2, push 3 in standalone mode. In fact, let's do that right now because I'm getting impatient. The brightness was the main thing, right? Let's do the brightness test. Okay, so the camera's not doing it justice. It's pretty much just picking up pixels and displaying them on the screen at the same brightness as far as I can see. I'm going to say that they're the same brightness. However, the background on the push 3 is pretty much black, like dark black. And on the push 2, I can see kind of blue coming through, so I can see more backlit coming through. Yeah, as far as pads and stuff go, I don't really know how I can get that working for you. Anyway, this seems to all be quite screwed up at the moment. Okay, let's just go into standalone mode. Let's move on. I completely did not answer your question and I took 10 minutes to do it. I apologize. So over here, I'm going to take the push 2 away because I'm not going to use it as something to put stuff on top of, because it's still a very good piece of kit. I don't disrespect it. So here we have a Novation Launch Control XL. I'm just going to plug this into the push in standalone mode. Okay, that's done. You'll see that the XL, my mic placement isn't very good here. You'll see the XL is registered that there's actually 4 tracks. Now, I reckon if we go here, move this down, have a look at the fader on the push 2. So straight away, if it's got a control surface script, a remote script, you can plug this in and play it straight away. Let me go ahead and let's save this. Excuse me for a moment, just so I don't accidentally leak my file system to everyone. We'll save this as floating under Merit 2. Okay, so now we're back here. Oh, we've got 2 cameras. Oh, that'll do. I'm going to go ahead and drag. I'm just dragging from my my browser on my computer. I'm just dragging the floating under Merit 2 from a folder on my computer, and let's go in here and let's drag it into the projects. Continue. Okay, so that's copied across to the push. Let's go into our sets, and there's floating under the Merit 2. Let's just load that. Yeah, it's kind of my DJ sorted. What I need to do is test using a USB hub. But if I can get 2 of these in the push, I'm going to have to do some modifications to all of my Max for Live stuff. So as I understand, I'm not easily able to create user interfaces for the screen. I'm sure there's a way, but it's a little bit beyond me. Oh, I didn't collect all and save. That was a bit dumb. So collect all and save. Yeah, it would be really nice to be able to have a very miniature version of the DJ deck strip here, but yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this because I didn't collect all and save, so it was missing some shit. And let's go ahead and drag it across in here again. Maybe I do need to, no, I don't need to freeze stuff. Okay, let's go File, Load, Floating under Merit 2. Is it going to tell me off again? And if if you're in, oh no, I don't have it open here. But it's a pretty chunky computer in here. It's I'm pretty sure it's an i3. I think does anybody know what the actual specs are that they can post in chat? Don't have the document immediately here right away. It's got a 256 hard drive, which is awesome. Okay, so that's loaded. And if we look over here, I'm just on the factory 1 setting on my Launch Control XL, and we can see all of our levels. Let's just hit play. I need to turn it up here. So we should be able to do level control. What else have we got here? We got pan. So let's check out our pans. So that's just pretty much working flawlessly. It's quite quiet, I know that. Let's turn the main output up here. That's interesting, this track needs to be up for this one to be up. Anyway, that's one way. So I'm pretty sure that anything that has a remote script, so if I just have a look at live here, you know, any of these, you can just plug and play them into the push. But I want to show you something else which I thought was particularly neat. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to exit control live mode again, or standalone mode. So no, I don't want to save the changes. Now we're going to plug it in. It's thinking about it. You've got the launch control as well. Yeah, it also has what, two hours of battery life at pretty intense use, which is a set. So I don't know, I just kind of like the idea of getting up for a DJ set, literally having 2 outputs from the push and a USB hub, no power. And if you forget your power cable, you've got enough to play a 2-hour set, which is fantastic. Wycross, thank you. So Intel 11th Gen Core, i3, 1115G4 with 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah. Also, thank you, Food for the Gods as well. And yeah, 256 hard drive. It's running, I believe, a pretty custom version of Linux. I did try to SSH into it, but it told me off because I didn't have the right key. But, you know, that's as far as I got. I think I need to restart Ableton Live here. Unfortunately, it's not going into controller mode. So let me just do that really quickly. If anybody else has any more questions or things that they'd like me to try, please let me know. I'm just kind of mucking around, having some fun. There's a whole lot of other interesting shortcuts and things, you know, holding down buttons and holding down shift and pushing this and pushing that. There's lots of stuff, but you know, you can read a manual for that. I want to have some fun. I want to make some noise. I want to break it. I want to see if I can break it. I want to attach an LFO to everything and put it to 5,000 million. Does it run in parallel with the computer without bouncing the results back, giving extra channels? I don't believe it does in its current state. So it needs to be in standalone mode. Let me just get my computer back up here for you. It needs to be in standalone mode in order for you to be able to have this particular functionality of browsing it using the browser. So once we exit standalone mode, which again I'm hoping... Oh, apparently we're in standalone mode. Okay, maybe I can browse it when it's... I don't know. Let's try. Nah, I know, I'm pretty sure for a fact that no, I don't know for a fact. I'm going to open up that project. It's a really good question. I'm going to open up that project in Ableton Live. And I'm just going to add a single track to it. Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Food for thoughts. I mean, it's running on Linux right now, whatever is inside the push. Oh, I wonder what happens if you plug a push 3 into a push. So I'm just loading the set in Ableton Live on my computer while we do have it in Control Live mode. I guess that's just called Control mode. And what I want to do is I just want to change one thing. Let's just go ahead and let's just chuck in a MIDI track at the very, very start. Like so. Does this work? I'm just going to save it. Okay. No. Oh, yep, I do. I want to override it. That's all good. Now let's go into standalone mode. Yeah, so someone just sent me a link before I started the stream. I couldn't watch it, but it seems like some people have already tried stress testing it to see how many devices they can get running on it. Yeah, it's an interesting one because, you know, 8 gigs of RAM, i3, 11th gen core. I mean, it's a pretty chunk, but, you know, it is going to have its limitations. But we're also running Linux, which was it's probably, you know, headless. There's probably so much available power, you know. I mean, it's completely and utterly dedicated to the running of these projects. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it can really handle. I don't believe there is an actual channel limit that's put into this device. We're having some issues here again. I'm wondering if it's because I've got the USB stuff plugged in. Or if I'm just not being patient. We'll see. While we're waiting, this sound here, or this one here, where is it? I'm just going to resample that. I just had a wee idea, so we're going to pause for a sec. Let's just resample that. Why is this being such a weirdo? Okay, let's go from here. Cool. Now what I want to do, I want to make this sound kind of more lo-fi and vintage. Just hold on 1 second. Give me a moment. I just forgot how to do this, so synth sound more lo-fi and vintage. Yeah, sometimes I have a little bit of a lapse and I need to look stuff up. One way to make a synth sound more lo-fi and vintage is to use a Redux. Yeah, we did that. Another way is to use a format filter which emulates the human voice box and produces a vowel sound. Additionally, using a frequency shifter and playing with the LFO can create a wobbly tape looping effect. Okay, that's good. So let's roll with that. So I'm just going to put a shifter on here. And we'll just give it a little, just a little LFO. it's also out of time. Yeah, unfortunately I'm having some issues with this. I think it's to do with turning it off and on while it's plugged in. Again, I just have to restate for the fact that I'm using a beta unfinished version of the firmware. And apparently it's already been updated. I just didn't have time to do it before the stream. I didn't think it would cause me too many problems, but we've got a little bit of problems going on here. Can you try throwing a Max for Live device onto the standalone? I will, yep. Let me just, I've got a few things queued up here. So I wanted to show you, I'll just explain it. So when you have this in controller mode, the push 3, and you have a USB device plugged into it, such as the Novation Launch Control XL, and you're sending CC values, so it's not in a remote script mode, you're actually using it as a MIDI controller. You can assign it directly to stuff within Live. So, you know, I could go, I want to change the course value and assign it to this knob here in Ableton Live. And then when you go into, if you save that set, you put it onto the push, you go into standalone mode, and you plug this in standalone mode, that MIDI mapping retains its place. So I think that's a really, really important factor. It is for me and how I work and how I perform. But you can have a set and you can map all of these buttons to things within the set, drag them into the push, put it into standalone mode, and they will do exactly as they intended. But yeah, you can just take my word for it. It works, and I could show you, but it would take 5 minutes. So the question was, can I try throwing an Max for Live device onto the standalone? Yeah, well, I believe we're in standalone at the moment. I mean, we could just go add device, Max for Live, Max, we'll go MIDI instrument. I don't actually have anything on here. Maybe I can change that quickly. Max for Live, MIDI instrument. I don't know. That's probably a silly idea. Let's do an audio effect instead. I don't know, just Max Auto Panner. So I'm going to see if I can drag this into here. Can I just drag it into the user library? Let's have a look. Max Audio Effect, Max Auto Panner. So it's added it. Let's add it in there. So no parameters mapped, unfortunately. I believe you need to, let's take a look at the device. So yeah, it's got a custom GUI interface here, no parameters mapped, so we can't actually do anything with it. However, if we were to group it and, you know, map, say, the frequency to macro 1 and the note to macro 2 and save the audio rack as auto panner rack, then go ahead and go back to our push and drag that into our user library. It's one way of doing it. It's going to freak out. Maybe I need to save it first. There we go. So that's copied across. So if I now go add audio track, audio effects, audio effect rack, or maybe I need to go into my user library, auto panner rack, and there we go. So now we have the device with the two macros assigned. So that's one way around it. I'm pretty sure you could do that on the push too as well, but it's not ideal. I really, really do hope they do open up the ability to make our own GUIs. because that's something I'm super interested in. Can I try granulator? I don't actually know if I have it installed on this computer. It's going to be the same. Like I can tell you now, it'll be the same. It'll say no parameters mappable. Yeah. What else have I got on my list here? I want to make some more fucking gnarly sounds. The thing is, I want to be in control live mode, but I don't want to freak it out. But let's do it. We happy? Just thinking about it. I wonder if it's the cable I'm using. I'm using a different cable that came with the actual machine. There we go, that's the sound we want. Alright. Yes, we're in control mode. Alright, let's make some more sounds. I can switch to this view. I mean, that kind of sucked. That was just me giving an example. I want to make a really nasty sound. So let's go and load up. We'll do wavetable again. Let's use a distortion. Very good. Let's bring the MPE up so the slider's all the way. I'm just going to adjust my curve here. It's quite quiet. Okay, I'm going to go back and load another expression controller. I really enjoy doing this. You might have noticed. Let's go ahead and add the press to the slide to FM mode. Amount, and we'll also do it for tune. What else we got? Frequency shifter. Let's do that. That's pretty aggressive when used badly. Sorry, what am I looking for? The spectral resonator. Actually, let's not put that on that. Let's map the slide to the decay. Let's turn this into MIDI mode, and we'll have the MIDI coming from the actual track that we're on. And we'll put aftertouch on dry wet. We'll do the opposite, 100% to 0. How about we go and add that to something that's actually melodic? Maybe if we do have a let's chuck that in. We'll give it an amp. Let's go. Let's go. Put the reverb on there. Okay, enough noise, but that could be quite nice on the guitar. Maybe if we map it to the cutoff. We might need to put a filter after the lead and map that. And not have it do so much. Anyway, I think that is my list pretty much sorted. Yeah, I've had a good time. We kind of got a track. Let us know if you have any more questions or anything that you'd like me to try out. Again, there is a lot of stuff in between the lines here. I've kind of glanced over some features today, but yeah, there's quite a lot. Unfortunately, I can't show you the audio input and output stuff because it will break my stream, but we can change our audio output here whilst we're in. Well, I can show you here. Oh no, it probably won't come up because I'm on Windows because I need to restart. But you know, I'm currently using a sound card which has the push plugged into it. But you can just use push as your complete and sound card for your computer or your DAW setup. Can it use Guitar Rig? Again, it would be the same kind of situation as the Max for Live plugins. Should we try putting a VST into a rack and seeing what happens? I think that's a really good idea. I just don't know what I have installed on this computer. Just trying to think of what I could quickly, probably Effectrix. So if I put Effectrix here, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, nah, it's not going to work. The VSTs are not going to work. The VSTs aren't installed on here. I don't know what I was thinking there. I'm getting a little bit tired. Yeah. Does it have the ugly soft touch finish of the Push 2 that gets sticky over time? Well, it's a bit tricky for me to answer that one as well, because I've only had it for a few days. I do know what you mean though. So let me just go full screen for you. And I'll turn up my video exposure for you, just so we can really see stuff. Everything will get washed out a bit, but so the push 2 feels a bit more metallic. It could just be because it's cold though. These encoders feel the same. All of the buttons definitely feel nicer and more tactile. The pads 100% feel way nicer. Like, there's absolutely no doubt about that. You can tell that's where they've put a lot of their allocation of whatever's. But yeah, they take a little bit of getting used to. I mean, this is the amount of expression that they've packed into this. I mean, you know, you've got 64 pads, you've got turning a note on and off, you've got X, Y, and Z. So what, 64 to the power of 4 kind of combinations of how you can have sounds coming out of this. It's a very, very expressive thing, and it's an instrument. It's an instrument. It's something that you need to have practice with. You need to learn. In my opinion, sure, there's patches that are just super fun right off the bat with MPE and stuff, but you know, I really feel like this is an instrument that you would need to practice and become familiar with over time. How many MIDI devices does it support? 16 channels. Again, I don't believe there's any cap. I believe you can just keep adding channels until it freaks out. Should we do an experiment? Should we do an experiment? I'm quite interested to see what happens if we throw, like, it's probably easier if I do it on the computer and then copy it across, but let's put heaps of synths with lots of reverb and let's just duplicate it heaps of times and see if it will actually play it. I think that's an interesting idea, and I'm feeling chaotic. So instrument, what's probably, I don't know, maybe wavetable is the most CPU intensive. I don't know. It'll do. We'll put both oscillators on. Let's give it heaps of voices. We might as well bring all the volumes down. And let's give it, I'm going to guess hybrid reverb's also incredibly CPU intensive. Okay, so let's just duplicate that. We'll do it 8 times. We need all of these to be armed as well. I'm not sure if the set will open with these armed, but oh, we could just put a MIDI clip in. That'll do. So copy that across. Wait, did I do 9? I did. So my CPU is not even really being touched there. If we look at our performance impact. So let's go for 16, see what happens. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly save this as break. Okay, and we're back here. So 16 wavetables with 16 hybrid reverbs. Will it break it? Let's see. Let's go to my push. Okay, so it does look like it can access the push when it is in control mode, which is interesting. We'll drag it into break. Continue. I'm going to duplicate these. So now we have 32 wavetables with the reverb. Getting up there a bit. I will go ahead and save this as break. Oh, that wasn't very good, but whatever. 32. And let's do 64. Oh wait, I did 24. I'm getting a bit tired here, guys. There we go. Let's break 32. After adding 50 channels with wavetables playing the same note, to start have dropouts and pops is what I say already. Let's give it one. I just want to see it. So we'll do 64 as well. Wonk. I mean, it gets up to 90% on my computer, and that's pretty chunky. So we'll save this as 64. Cool. Now I drag these into push. All right. Then we go into standalone. I'll have a scroll through for the other questions just in a moment. Okay, looks like we're in standalone. That was really, really quick that time. Anyway, so let's go into my sets. So this is break. This is 16 wavetables. Didn't even flinch. Let's go 32. I mean, we should probably check that they're all playing. Okay, we're getting pops at 32. So that's interesting. What happens if I delete one? One more? One more? What do you reckon? We're sounding good? Well, we're going to load the 64 anyway. Of course we do. Of course we have to. I don't know. I'd say, I don't know, look like, at a guess, it's going to even out at about 24. What are we at? Yeah, we're at 24. Can I play? Yeah, anyway, let's load the 64 one just for fun. Jog wheel. They fixed the soft touch finish on the push 2 in the later push 2 revisions. Okay, well, that's good to know. Can you control the Ableton push with an external controller and add MIDI mappings? You can indeed. I was talking about that before. You have to do it in Ableton Live. You have to assign the mappings in Ableton Live on your computer, but when you put the set across to the push 3 and have it in standalone mode, you can plug your controller into the back and those mappings will be there and usable. Okay, so this is 64, I guess. Uh-oh. We screwed it. There is a audio page. What if we... Oh, look, you can... What if we put the buffer rate all the way up? And can we go down? We can't go down on the sample rate. Nah, 64 just completely bricks it. But, you know, yeah. So I feel like I'm nearing the end of this stream. Unless anybody's got any more things they want me to try or any questions. Feeling pretty good about it, but I'm definitely getting a little bit tired. As I said previously, you know, I've had kind of 5-6 days to casually play with this, and I'm just really looking forward to getting in deep. I can tell, and you can probably tell, that I'm still a little bit clunky with it. I don't know where everything is. I don't know what absolutely everything does. But yeah, I just want to spend more time with it. And I want to pick it up and go and sit outside in the grass and make ambient drone music while looking at birds without a power cable. I think that's really, really cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. A very, very exciting day. Very eventful day. Thanks again to Ableton for hooking me up with a unit. We'll just pretend that isn't happening right now. Yeah, I really, really appreciate them helping me out by giving me a unit and being able to share it with the world. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day.